if you're looking at the economy with a discerning view, you see that growth may have come down, but it's not a recession yet, or it won't be a recession ever. And therefore, yes, ma'am, I did say that. So, consciously, all of us have to rise above, because economy also has a very big foundation in sentiments. This house should have confidence, and this house shall have the confidence when I give all the data before you, so that we together, as responsible members representing this Council of States, understand that the economy has got to be given a lot more support, as we are trying to do, and that is done with an intention of keeping the growth up. So India's real GDP growth was at 6.4 at the end of 2009-14 five-year rule, whereas between 14 and 19, it was at 7.5. Let's first compare that. Second, the headline inflation, sir, between 2009 and 14, and between 14 and 19, the year when we closed 19, headline inflation at 2014 was 10.3, whereas when NDA-1 concluded in 2019, it was 4.5 only. Core inflation again, sir. Headline inflation minus food and energy is your core inflation. 2009 to 14, UPA 2 time. At 14, core inflation was 9.4, whereas 2014-19, at 19, it was 5.1 only. Then food inflation, sir. Between 2009 and 14, ending 14, it was 11.2. Food inflation, 11.2. And where was it? At 19, when NDA-1 finished, just 3.5 only. I go to FDI inflows, sir, gross. FDI inflows gross, 2009 to 14. At 14, we are talking about $189.5 billion. Whereas when we finished in 19, it was $283.9 billion. Again, sir, foreign exchange reserves, some members mentioned about it. I'd like to give the comparison. Foreign exchange reserves at period end of 2009-14 was $304.2 billion, whereas at the period end 2014-19, it was $412.9 billion. I go over to some related to domestic demand. Demand was one of the things on which a lot of members, I remember Keshavarao-ji also speaking about demand side. I just want to give you central government's period end liabilities to GDP. Liabilities to GDP ratio, 2009-14 period ended with 52.2%, whereas it was only 49.4% at the end of 2014-19. The next data, sir, again relating to demand side, general government's period end liabilities to GDP, 67.1 at the time of 2014, five-year rule of UPA 2, whereas UPA 1, it just increased by 1 point, 67.3. Net portfolio investment, on which I've been questioned about why did you have to withdraw, you're favoring the suit boot. I'll give a complete reply on that, but let's look at the positions, sir. Net portfolio investment at the end of 14, after UPA 2, was 59.1%, $1 billion, whereas NDA 1, ending March 19, sir, is that 59.1 billion has gone up to $67.2 billion. And the final one in this list is the external debt to GDP at a period end. External debt to GDP ratio, which is a percentage ratio. At the end of UPA 2, that is 2009-14, 23.9% was the external debt to GDP ratio, which came down. External debt to GDP came down within 5 years from 23.9 to 19.7, sir.